The AFC North is one of the best but most predictable divisions in the NFL.
There's a certain identity we want to have.
The pressure, here comes Miles, he got it!
There it is, baby. Hit in the mouth for the first play. Every time we do
We'll be screaming now, we can be here.
But because we know it's going to showcase bitter football rivalry at its best. Between Baltimore and Cincinnati, you have two teams that always roll out an epic offense, and in Pittsburgh, you have the ever-reliable Mike Tomlin and a new exciting Aaron Rodgers-led offense. And then, yes, of course, in Cleveland, you have the Browns. But even they, despite being on a long and painful stretch of mediocre play, have a track record of testing their division rivals and have something to be intrigued by this season. So I think it's official and we can say that the AFC North is a bloodbath again. Now let's kick things off with the Baltimore Ravens, who have had the last two AFC North titles. As the third highest scoring offense and the ninth best scoring defense,
Fitzpatrick in trouble again, and a big hit.
these guys have made a very strong case for being the best team in the entire NFL in 2024, which is a case they've held a strong claim for over the last few years. Lamar Jackson, as we all know, is an absolute and legitimate freak. He's been operating as the best rushing quarterback in the NFL since the day he was drafted, but he has since developed into arguably the best passer of the ball as well, earning himself 2 MVP awards and potentially what could or should have been a third last year. With Derrick Henry coming in as a big ticket free agent signing in the 2024 offseason, this offense took off in style. Their 187.6 rushing yards per game led the NFL, averaging an unfair 5.8 yards per carry. And I mean, look, truthfully, I think that's what we kind of all expected to happen when you put a guy like Derrick Henry in the same backfield as Lamar Jackson. Like, that offense and what they did last year is phenomenal, and everybody saw it coming. Henry and his 1,921 yards and 16 touchdowns are returning in 2025 to torture NFL defenses yet again, and in an offense that has mostly stayed the exact same. DeAndre Hopkins is the free agent addition of note, joining a starting wide receiver rotation alongside Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. This should be another run-focused attack again, and I expect more of the same demolition. Defensively, Malachi Starks comes in as a great value at safety in the draft, ready to learn alongside the best in the business, Kyle Hamilton. Hamilton was an insane value when he was drafted back in 2022, and while it will be hard for Starks to live up to that same potential, he looks like another smart selection. Jair Alexander also comes in to support the secondary as a free agent, and when you consider that he will be lining up alongside Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, Starks, and Hamilton, this does have the markings of a truly elite secondary. And I mean, especially when you add in all the talent that they have on the defensive line as well, it's really capable of being honestly one of the best, if not the best defense in the NFL this year. With second round rookie Mike Green already making some eye-popping plays in the preseason and the rest of the dominant D-line returning in 2025, life is going to be incredibly difficult for teams going up against Baltimore this year. And I mean, truthfully, with the Baltimore Ravens, we've kind of gotten to the point where we know year in and year out they're going to be there in January. Like, they're just so good on both sides of the ball and coached so damn well. Like, playoff football is just inevitable. It's what happens when they get there that matters, though. With Lamar and Henry leading the way on offense, and with Kyle Hamilton, Nnamdi Madubuike, and their exciting rookies bossing things on defense, this team absolutely has everything they need to win a Super Bowl. It's just the case of executing when the time comes, which, as we all know, has been much easier said than done. Either way, though, I am going to be sticking with Baltimore as my AFC North winners this year, but it's going to be closely followed up by the Cincinnati Bengals. And yes, it's going to be a good bounce back year here for the Bengals, led by, of course, Joe Burrow, another quarterback who made a strong case for being the best in the NFL last season. It was a travesty that Burrow in this offense didn't get to show what they could do on the playoff stage last year, and with what should be a slightly improved defense supporting them in 2025, I think this could be one hell of a revenge tour. Like, As we all know, last year was one of Burrow's first healthy seasons that actually didn't end in an AFC championship appearance. And well, we all know why they didn't get that, and it was because of the defense. The 25th best scoring unit in the league cost this team a shot at the playoffs and led to their firing of their defensive coordinator. To replace him, Cincinnati brought in Al Golden, whose most recent employment saw him masterminding a lethal defense in the college ranks with Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish led the nation in passing efficiency, defense, turnovers gained, and defensive touchdowns, while Golden was in charge en route to a national championship appearance. The Bengals, meanwhile, were completely lost, and Golden will have his work cut out to get them back on track. There have been contract disputes with Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart, which are concerning, but Stewart is now signed and making a strong impression already, and it's surely just a matter of time before Hendrickson has his new deal locked in as well. TJ Slaton comes in from Green Bay to give this defense a much needed tougher interior, and rookie linebacker Demetrius Knight should help significantly upgrade this run defense as well. All these guys need to do is improve slightly to be league average across the board, and this offense should be more than capable of propelling this team to postseason football. As we all know though, the biggest news of the offseason was of course the signings of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, which kept intact the most lethal passing trio in the entire NFL when you factor Burrow into that as well. With Noah Fant then being added into the tight end room and Taj Brooks joining the running backs, everything points to this being another dominant season from the Bengals on offense. And that's the thing too, if they all can stay healthy on the offensive side of the ball, I don't know why this Bengals team can't outscore any team or every team every single Sunday. Like, truthfully, it really just comes down to how well this defense is going to play this year, and if they can take a bit of that pressure off of the offense and let them do their thing once they get the ball back into Joe Burrow's hands. Truthfully, I do think they should be able to do that, which means the Bengals will be snapping at the Ravens' heels in the AFC North, delivering a dazzling revenge tour for Bengals fans. And I mean, truthfully, every Cincinnati game this year should be amazing. Now, here's the thing though, I think that another team that might be not too far behind the Bengals and possibly even trying to place second place in this division is the Pittsburgh Steelers. We already know how reliable Mike Tomlin is as a head coach, having now enjoyed 18 seasons without a losing record, and this is comfortably his best roster in years. If Aaron Rodgers lives up to expectations, this roster will be miles clear of anything that Tomlin has had in recent years, with teams led by Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Russell Wilson, and Justin Fields. And I mean, truthfully, in many ways, this team looks like it's going all in for 2025. Rodgers has already hinted that this may be his last season in the NFL, and with several other aging stars on the roster, it does feel like it is now or never to win a Super Bowl for franchise legends like Cam Hayward. Rodgers may not move like he used to, but he still has a super speedy release and plenty of arm talent. He can still read a defense better than almost anyone in the NFL and has some good weapons around him as well. DK Metcalf is capable of taking any of his quick screens to the house while also being an imposing presence on the outside. Meanwhile, Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith make up arguably the league's best tight end pairing. The offensive line should be improved with Troy Fontanatu re-entering the fray after missing almost all of his rookie season, and there's plenty to be excited about in the running back room. Caleb Johnson looks like a great replacement and potential upgrade even over Najee Harris as a size and speed machine who matches up perfectly with Arthur Smith's zone block running scheme. Then Jaylen Warren is the explosive change of pace back who Steelers fans are very familiar with, and Kenny Gainwell offers even yet more danger as a receiver. And I mean, truthfully, the biggest question mark on this offense is arguably who else do they have at the wide receiver position after DK Metcalf? Like, truthfully, Robert Woods and Calvin Austin offer solid but slightly unremarkable options, but fans will really be hoping for Roman Wilson to take over the role. He also missed almost all of his entire rookie season, but now with Arthur Smith, you know that the tight ends are going to play a big role, so it may well be that they take on the second receiver role, taking a bit of pressure off the rotational wideouts. Defensively, Jalen Ramsey was the biggest grab of the offseason, coming in as part of a trade with the Dolphins, which sent Minkah Fitzpatrick in the other direction. And yes, I know, Ramsey is now 30 years old and will be 31 in October, but he still has plenty to offer. He ranked 8th among corners who played at least half the season last year with a defensive PFF grade of 76.9, and his versatility means that he can play a bit of free safety for the Steelers as well. He still does offer plenty in coverage and will still be more than willing to deliver a blow, so he's going to be a superb chess piece for a Steelers defense that has quality across across the board, with TJ Watt leading a superb pass rush, Patrick Queen patrolling the middle of the field, and Juan Thornhill and Darius Slay coming in as more support for the secondary. Truthfully, I really do think that if it does all go well for the Steelers this year, mainly meaning Aaron Rodgers delivers, this is definitely a team that can contend in the AFC North and beyond. The range of outcomes is absolutely huge though, so let me know in the comments what you guys mostly will think will happen with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The final team in the AFC North though, as you can guess, is the Cleveland Browns. And now yes, this is normally the part of the AFC North preview where we dump on one of the worst teams in the NFL, and there's plenty of that's going to happen. However, it is impossible to ignore the preseason performance of Shedeur Sanders from week 1 in the preseason and what could potentially mean for the team. And yes, don't get me wrong, I know all of you are jumping in the comment section right now saying, well, it's just the preseason, he wasn't playing versus starters. I understand that. Hell, it was even just one half of football that the dude played, but nonetheless, the dude still looked pretty damn good at least. Like, he looked composed, made some great throws, and even showed a bit with his legs. Most importantly though, he never looked out of his depth, which can't be said for many of the quarterbacks to take the field in the preseason. A lot has been made messy of the quarterback room in Cleveland and of the controversial fall of Sanders in the draft, but all of a sudden this could be looking like a stroke of genius. And yes, there is obviously a long way to go before we can call Shedeur the future in Cleveland, but for a team whose 2025 season was looking pretty bleak, this is at least a ray of hope to latch onto and a fun storyline to follow. Elsewhere on the roster, things really aren't looking quite so hopeful. The team's second round running back Quinshon Judkins looks genuinely at risk of not suiting up at all this year due to his ongoing domestic violence case, and on defense, cornerback Martin Emerson is already out for the season. Still, Mason Graham and Carson Schwarzenegger still look like promising rookies joining a defense that still has plenty of talent, while tight end Harold Fannin Jr. and running back Dylan Sampson also look set to have big roles as rookies. All are truthfully very intriguing profiles that came with plenty of draft hype. And I mean, what looks to be like a reset season that will be focused on developing young talent and finding key contributors on both sides of the ball, there are at least lots of exciting young names for Browns fans to keep an eye on. In terms of wins and losses though, it's hard to see a scenario in which the Browns don't come in last in the AFC North. Joe Flacco looks set to start the season, and even if Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel do make a strong case to take over, the chances of them winning many games in a tough division is minimal. This year really is going to be all about developing the quarterbacks, betting in the other rookies, and hoping for players like Cedric Tillman to take the leap and establish themselves as top-tier contributors moving forward. So I mean, here's the deal. The AFC North isn't just competitive, it's absolute warfare. You've got a Super Bowl ready Ravens squad, a Bengals team out for revenge, a Steelers roster built for one last run, and a Browns team that might just be lighting the fuse on something brand new. At the end of the day though, this isn't just a battle for the division, it's a survival of the fittest.